Have you ever spoken to someone and thought, how did I not know that you existed before? Well, that's how I felt about our second guest. In this Profiles in Badassery, we talked to Kim Blake, a triple black belt. You heard me right. A triple black belt in 3 different disciplines. Miss Kim talks about how she started in martial arts, her rise through the ranks, and how she made it through the ranks in each of her respective disciplines. This lady is amazing. The entire interview, I was in awe of her strength, her tenacity, all the while being a very kind and soft spoken lady. You could literally feel the kindness radiating through the screen. So, my favorite part of the whole interview that you have to stay tuned for is the story of the day that she became the first female black belt in the state of Oklahoma. You gotta watch it. It put a smile on my face, and I know it'll definitely put a smile on yours. To see fresh new content, join our community of sisters that can throw hands, feet, and the occasional person at Facebook and Instagram at Black Woman Black Belt, and visit our website at blackwomanblackbelt.com. Hope to see you soon. Peace. Miss Kim, thank you for coming. I must say first, welcome, badass. Welcome, fellow badass. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
First thing I want you
Oh,
to do is, instead of me saying all that I've researched because I'm a nerd like that, I want you to introduce yourself. Who are you?
um, I am first a Christian. Um, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. Um, I do like the martial arts. Um, I, yeah, I do. So I studied 3 different disciplines: um, karate and kickboxing, ketsuko, which is American type jujitsu, more of a self-defense. Um, Joint manipulation type thing. And then I also earned my Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt, which was, I just kept going. I didn't know, I didn't try to get there, but I did. And I ended up being the first um, female in the state of Oklahoma to receive a black belt in Jiu Jitsu.
Like,
And
first off, when did you receive your black belt?
in 2018,
So it's pretty
by
recent. So
pretty recent.
congratulations, first off, because that's
Thank you.
that's phenomenal. You have 3 black belts in 3 different disciplines. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
this woman's crazy.
I
Like
just
I thought that was amazing. So, first off, the first what when did you first start training martial arts just in general? Because I can't say jujitsu. I just have to say martial
Right.
arts in general.
I was 42 when I started training, which was 16 years ago. So I'm 58 now.
I'm trying to do 16 years
Yeah,
ago.
16. Yeah, in
It was
2004 started
2004. Okay.
training.
What was the first martial arts you started with?
Karate and kickboxing. I started after my um, kids. I have 2 boys. They had both received their black belts at 14 and 16, I believe. And I I called them on the phone on their cell phone. They were at school. I said, "Hey, guess what I did? I started karate," and they started laughing. But it was funny. I got my first stripe. It was white belt. I walked around. I cooked in it, and I was like tough, a tough mama by then. They just laughed. But anyway,
I bet you they're not laughing now.
they're not laughing now. Man, I almost gave up after my first class. I was like, "What is wrong with me?" We started doing the line drills, and we were doing some technique. I went in the bathroom. I just slid down in the corner and started to cry. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I stayed there for like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. And I came out, I wiped my tears, and it was this gentleman To this date, I only think I trained with him one other time, but I think he was there for a purpose. He looked at me. He saw that I was upset. I talked myself out of the bathroom. I said, I'm going to get up. I'm going to finish this class. I'm going home. I'm not coming back. And he kept pointing at me. He's like, you can do it. You can. And he didn't say it out loud. He just got my eye contact. And I perked up and I was like, I can do it. I kept going and kept going. And it's all a history. But he
Oh,
started something that day.
that's absolutely amazing. I'm like I'm still tripping off the three black belts. So you started with karate, correct?
Hmm.
Is it
Yes.
like Shotokan karate? Is it a certain type?
It is more of a American type. They got rid of the tradition. Matter of fact, our katas we do mostly what do you call it, taekwondo, because there was a thing I guess when he switched to um, the karate slash kickboxing slash jujitsu. There was a big transition. There were people that they were picking up. I guess Taekwondo had some sort of dip, and the people were able to transition into karate. So we don't do the. I mean, we practice the karate. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but as far as the tradition and the kata and everything evolving around the kata, we don't do. We do fight. We're
Yeah. So
considered
you do
fight.
active sparring. You just don't do
Oh
the
yes.
traditional katas. And
Yeah.
and when did you get your black belt in karate?
In 2007.
So that was pretty. You just made short work of that. She's like, come out, you cry
Yeah.
one day, you got a black belt on the other. So when did you start with the second black belt?
The second black belt, at the time, um, we were, as a matter of fact, our discipline says karate, jujitsu, and kickboxing. Okay, so like I said, Ketsuko is like an American jujitsu. So that was in our school as a whole different class that you can take, and it met maybe 3 times you know a week. So I was actually running from one class to the other. So they were like like this, going neck and neck, and then they transitioned from the Ketsuko to Jiu-Jitsu um, under Carlos Machado. Well, they still had the Ketsuko, so then I was taking three different type of classes at one time. So I was actually at the school maybe 6 days a week. After that, they were closed on Sunday, but
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. After work, I was at the dojo.
That's why I feel like that's how it is with martial arts.
Mhm.
That's why the first class is always free. It's like drugs.
Yes,
They want
it
to
is.
introduce you to your drug. You're like,
Uh
hey,
huh. Uh
now
huh.
now that you're addicted, let me
Mhm.
get you to the harder stuff. Now, when
Mhm.
did you start? Like to me, and of course I am biased because I'm a jujitsu practitioner. I'm a jujitsera. When did you start the hard stuff?
When I started because I knew I wanted to to learn the full package, um, and I knew that standing up and fighting, you might get kicked to the ground. What do you do? So when I started with a bunch of guys. They all half of them wanted to fight in the ring, and nobody wanted to touch um, the old lady. So they kind of ignored me. And I was like, wait a minute, hold up, I didn't get it. And I started training under Mikey Burnett. And he's like, don't worry, Miss Kim, you'll get it. You'll get it, I promise. I'm like, I don't get it. I need to see this like 1,000 times. I'm not getting past the third movement. And that's when Master Carlos Machado, when he came along, he was able to break it down, and I made the connection between my brain and my body. And I
Yeah.
started to, he made sure there was a muscle memory that was activated. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually completing a technique.
Yeah. So you actually trained directly under Machado?
Um, I, yes, yes and no. Um, because we had the people that I trained under, in which they got their black belts like right before I did. Um, when they started, they were blue belts, and then we trained, and then I started training like directly under Carlos Machado through affiliates training, and I was going with them like 3 times a year to train like weekends directly under him,
Oh,
and
that's
which I still do
amazing.
now. So um, the person who I trained under, they started their own gym um, two years ago as well. So I actually took over as being head instructor when I was a brown belt, and I went to the worlds. I won a world title, and then after that, a month after that, um, I was awarded a black belt after all the years of, I think it was like 12 um, years of training jujitsu. Received
So you
mine.
started in 2006 with jujitsu, and
Right.
then and you got your black belt in 2018, which is
Yes.
amazing. But through all of that, because you told me about the first day that you came and you cried, and I get it, because if you haven't cried in martial arts, have you really done martial arts?
Mhm.
Um, what challenge? What have you had any challenges as a woman or as a black woman or just in general that you had to, coming through the ranks, and how did you negotiate that? How did you solve your challenges?
I just saw my challenges through I'm there for me. I'm my biggest competitor. If I can't beat her the next day, or coming up, what will she become if I sit and watch Netflix? What will I become? If I do the work, what will I become? It's about me. It's not about, oh, that person um, did this and they've become this, because I can't physically train the way that younger people train. I mean, they can't leave me behind. I'm going to keep up, but I'm telling myself, I'm just going to do my very best and make sure that I'm doing a little bit every day to be better, and see what, it's not whatever will be will be. It's I'm going to keep coming. I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to
Okay.
keep doing better.
Because you did start at 42, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
What advice would you have for people who want to start older? Because a lot of women that I run into, they're like, well, I'm too old. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not too
Yeah,
old, but what advice would you give them
hmm
if you wanted them
um,
to start?
you have to listen to your body, because there's a lot of people out there. It's a mental game as well. A lot of people will mentally like beat up an old lady and feel good about it and go brag about it on Facebook. That type of person you
Mm,
stay away with. And there's some people that want to learn, some people that want to teach, and that's want to show you. You know, so those are the people you want to work with. You don't want to work with somebody that can break you in half, because there is a speed difference in mentally and physically. Some people can work with anybody, and there's a few of those people. You don't have to work with everybody. Choose, because we have that to choose. You can say no, I don't want to work with that's past the
like not
white belt.
today. Mm-mm.
Not today.
No
Yeah.
spike. The big muscle head, fazzy
The
white belt to
muscle
the
is
snap
that.
snapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you on that one. And talking
Um,
about teaching, you are the head instructor at Apollo's Martial Arts in Tulsa, correct?
yes,
All right,
correct.
just making sure I remembered that correctly.
Okay.
When did you become the head instructor one more time? Because I want to make sure I.
In 2018, in July, right before I got my black belt, the head instructor at the time, he left and he opened up his own gym, and there were two other black belts. They all went to the gym, so they had three black belts, and then they had me, which is a brown belt. So I stayed behind to run that program. 'cause that's where I started out, and that's where my loyalty um, is through that gym with Dale Apollo Cook. Um, so after that, I saw that there was some difference in him. Um, he had a had a girlfriend, and they were talking and doing their thing, and I says, well, I'm going to take care of me. I want to compete. So I started cross training in in the Tulsa area with some people that I knew that competed on a high level, and I started training with them. And I mean, I was training the way that they train. I had muscles I didn't think I had. So we went down to Vegas, and a couple of us we brought back world titles. And
And if I'm not mistaken, you are ranked number 3 in
as
Master
a black
6.
belt,
Yeah, as a black belt. I'm
yeah.
scared of you. I'm like, that is amazing. Um, as a competitor, like what advice would you give to competitors like me? I am a competitor, but I am a really, really crappy competitor. I'm like right now. It's one of those numbers where like I can't, like, what is your mindset going into a competition? Because I think that's where I have my problems, is the mindset. So
Yeah, you gotta is definitely a mindset in the physical thing, because at a time when you're competing, you gotta stay focused. You gotta go. It's go time. It's not relaxed time. There's a place in there you get so the adrenaline starts to go, and you have to ask yourself, you, we need to finish this. We're just gonna go until either the time is up or until something happens, and you just have to keep moving in your mind. You have to stay focused. Now I'm the one, like with when the pandemic came, I would have loved to go have went and competed in the world. So as a matter of fact, I had planned on, but I was not training um, to do that this year. There's a big gap. I wasn't going to go, well, I'm just going to go down and see what happened. Hmm.
now you are a competitor, obviously a fierce one, being number 3 in your division,
Hmm.
and you are an instructor. Um, is there a certain demographic you like to teach? And
Hmm.
is there a certain subject, certain jujitsu aspect of jujitsu that you just love to teach? It's your favorite thing, bar none.
I love to break down things that evolve, things that you can go from one to the other. Sweep to a choke, choke to a sweep, choke to omoplata, or sweep to an omoplata, control, guard retention. Because I'm not the one. If I'm on the ground, I can't get up fast. So
Yeah,
I have to build on that, and I have to take them through that revolving door. To do that as a competitor. As a teacher, I want to break down the concept, because that's what Carlos Machado Jiu-Jitsu is all about. Is about the concept. You know, if you know one concept, you know 1,000 techniques. Okay, so that's the way that he teaches. So I want my students to understand that, and I want them to build on their own journey. When I'm in class, it's about them, and making sure that they each understand. um, Being in a karate school, we have less jujitsu classes, so I'm cramming it. There's no time to rest. We have to learn, and we have to practice at the end. We warm up, we we do the technique, and then we go live. So
yeah,
it's like boom, boom, boom. That's we take care
yeah.
of it. It's about you. We talk about it. And I want to make sure that everybody learn what they can learn. You know.
Okay. Now, you have been studying martial arts since 2004 to 2020. Hopefully you got some. Have you been able to like do any training this year, because this year has just been a flaming dumpster fire, but have you been able to?
Yeah, I've been able to do a little training. I have my COVID weight,
Yeah.
like
Oh
everybody
yeah.
else.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little bit over where I want to be, but I'm not too far
Yeah.
off. I want to train more, but COVID has had an impact. I haven't done the cross training like I wanted to do, like hitting the open mats around the city for me. Because when I'm at the school, I make sure that my students get theirs on and not to have those intermingle. Sometimes I'll play a little bit with them when we have open mats at our, I'll do a couple rounds with them to see where they are, but I make sure that they get their money's worth. But I'm waiting for things to get
Back
better.
to normal. Back, yeah. Or it might be back to better, because sometimes things happen because it just needs to get it might
Exactly.
improve. So it might
Yes.
improve some things. Back to my question. You've been studying from 2004 to 2020. I always like to ask this question. What is your most memorable happy moment in martial arts? Like that moment you were like,
Not many people know this, but the the day that I received my black belt, I was thinking about going down to train. I was at an affiliates meeting and I was about to train, but I was also I was uh, I was nominated for an award for Tulsa's Impact Woman of Color of the Year award, and it was happening at the same time, and I couldn't miss a chance to go and train under Master Carlos Machado. Is always rewarding. It's just always exciting. And I said, well, can you do what do you call it, a simulcast, and can I accept the award, while I'm in Dallas like that? And it's like, oh, okay, we'll do that. So they got a person who figured it out, and when it was my time to accept the award, I would say a few moments. I cleared it, you know, with the headquarters, and it's like, sure, I said I'll just step off to the side, and I don't want to disturb the training. And I noticed that Master Machado, he was making, how's that the simulcast coming? I was like, oh, I'm sorry, they said they were going to call and they haven't called yet. And um, he says, well, I'm going to go and change and change out. And they called exactly at the time that we were lining up. And he's like, oh, no, no, go ahead, accept the call. And I'll say something afterwards. And I said, well, I'm here, thank you very much. And I panned with my phone, see how many people are here. They were lined up, ready to start the affiliates training. And then Master Machado grabbed the phone and he started speaking. He says he's about to make history, and um, she's going to receive her black belt. She'll be the first African American, woman in the state of Oklahoma, but I was actually the first woman that
this
received
woman,
her
period.
black
Yeah.
belt. So I'm here with this award from Tulsa, being the Impact Woman of Color of the Year, and I'm also receiving uh, honor of being the first um, female black belt at the same time.
Okay. So in other words, you are just you need a cape. I need to like get you a cape and sew you one, like, because
I'm
that's
still,
like,
I'm still. It's like they're blessed. I'm still trying to wear those shoes. I'm just me. Like I said, I'm just gonna keep coming. And
well, I feel like times like this are showing that there are you. If you were to walk by, you'd be like, okay, she's just an ordinary lady, but you show that the extraordinary can come from the ordinary. Like
exactly.
you are like I was like, just when I was doing the research on you, I was like, this woman is off the chain. I need to talk to her. Like I really was like so happy when you agreed to speak to me. So we're getting kind of close to the end, and I always end with this one question. Um if you had is there one thing that wasn't okay? Well, two questions. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you'd just like to answer? Just like something that's just been right here. You just want to say something.
hmm Sometimes with women, and especially Black women, um, you have to be patient. We know that we have greatness in us, um, and we're able to do. It doesn't matter about the color. We know that we can do what we can do, and sometimes the world's not um, ready to accept that. You just have to keep fighting above the barriers. Sometimes people see, like I had a person who is not belted at the rank that I'm belted at, but they saw him before they saw me. So I just had to keep pushing that this coming, the training is coming from me.
Yeah.
Just recently, everybody just started to call me professor. Okay. As 2 years ago, no, it was just Miss Kim, oh, well, she's teaching us some things, but just to break that barrier just by, you know, being comfortable, just like jujitsu, being comfortable in the uncomfortable. Okay, because it's very uncomfortable, when everybody, oh, Professor so and so, Professor, oh, Miss Kim, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's
now, yeah. So
yeah, that's shady. That's kind of shady.
it is, but if you focus on that as opposed to, okay, you're there. They can't, certain things can't be taken
They
away
can't take
from you.
away your black belt at this point. So yeah,
They
you earned
cannot
that.
take
It's
away.
yours.
It's
Yeah.
earned. It's legit, and it can't be taken away.
It has been a pleasure, and it's just been a pleasure. That's all I can say. It's been
Thank
an
you.
honor and a pleasure.
And I
So
can say the same thing. The ask to do this was an honor and a pleasure and a blessing.
I hope you enjoyed this segment and thank you for watching. Join our community on Instagram and Facebook and come see us at blackwomanblackbelt.com. Make sure to like and to subscribe to this channel. Hope to see you soon.